Hi beautiful souls, it's Sami here with Deeply Guided. I hope everyone is doing well today. It feels like I've not done a video for ever, but I feel a lot more confident now. I feel a lot more grounded. I feel like I'm on the right path. There's just been a lot going on in terms of, becoming a mother. I've got a toddler who's nearly 2. I'm pregnant now. I've got like 3.5 months left to go until we welcome our second daughter onto this planet. And I just keep being drawn and pulled and inspired to do more and more videos and content around microdosing with psilocybin mushrooms, so aka magic mushrooms. And I think one of the reasons I want to share and I want to talk about it is because I know it's a bit of a taboo subject, and I know it's legal in parts of the world, it's illegal in other parts of the world, and it's a mushroom that grows in abundance all over the planet and has been used by a lot of civilizations, a lot of cultures, for thousands and thousands of years in terms of, their healing practices, their spiritual practices, how to connect to oneself, how to expand your awareness and consciousness. And it's just something that has profoundly helped me. And I know if there's anyone out there who has struggled the way I have struggled, or who is struggling with some of these things that I'm going to talk about, then I hope they find comfort in these words. And that's all I want to do, is help people to find some form of like reassurance, some form of comfort, this feeling that they're not alone, they're not struggling on their own, there are options out there to help. And like everything out there, not one thing will help everyone, not one thing will be the answer. People are different in that respect, so what works for one person may not work for the other. But in terms of the healing powers of psilocybin mushrooms, it's just blown my mind away. And I am somebody who has struggled a lot with my mental health. If people have followed me in the past, they'll know that I'm quite very open, very transparent. I try and bring a lot of authenticity and integrity to what I'm sharing. I just want to help people. So I know obviously by sharing this, it's not only helping my journey and my personal growth, but I know it will help others out there as well who are maybe going through the same or have the same thoughts or questions, or if it resonates with you, then great. But basically I just want to do like a little quick video on the topic, which I've got a few notes here, which is does microdosing help with mental health illnesses such as complex PTSD, DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, and things like depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and postnatal depression. These are all things that I have had, I have been diagnosed with because of the intense childhood trauma that I had, including, neglect, abuse, sexual, physical. It was, and unfortunately, when that is not healed, it manifests in all different ways in your adult self. So I am not perfect. I'm just a human who is sharing my experiences and what has helped me and what hasn't helped me. So I've been on a healing journey for probably, I'd say, about over a decade, learning more about psychology, learning more about how trauma affects the brain development of a child, how it affects us in later life. Okay, I've got these symptoms, what do they mean? I may need to, be on antidepressants and all this other stuff. But it got to a point where throughout my life, and if anyone can resonate, where you're showing up, you're getting up, you're putting a smile on, but there's still this sort of like darkness, like this cloud over you that you can't seem to shift. And that's what my life felt like, this sort of dark cloud. And now and again it'd part and there'd be a little ray of sunshine and everything will be okay, but then it's just constantly this cloud of darkness. And it got to the point, it's been throughout my life, I've been up and down on the spectrum of, really bad, where, self-harming, suicidal ideation, even suicidal attempts. Then I go up and it's all groovy and things seem to be okay, and then it go down and it's like a wave throughout my healing journey. And when I've had my first loss, when I had to birth my my son Owen, that was one of those moments that was just, I was like, how am I gonna come back from that? And I even admitted to a friend that since losing Owen, which was probably about 2020, so like 4 years ago, it really had a knock on my confidence as just a human being, as a mum. It just really knocked my confidence. I used to love doing YouTube videos. I used to love putting a lot of inspirational content out there, and I just was like, I can't do it. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, who's nearly 2, Alice, and although that was great, it was still I was in a lot of fear around it, which is understandable given that I've just had a loss a year or two before that. So there was a lot coming up, and not only that, as a mum, as a woman, when you've been through childhood sexual abuse and you then become a mother yourself, loads of shit that you've not dealt with comes like right up in the face, and I wasn't prepared for that. I know I was told that by my perinatal mental health team that were with me. They were fantastic, but I just wasn't prepared for how intense the complex PTSD symptoms and how intense that past trauma would just show its ugly face up in my face. It was a really, really, those 8 months after my daughter was born were probably like the worst 8 months of my life. Not many people know that, but it was very, very dark, a very dark time for me. And I'll probably do another video in regards to that and talk about postnatal depression and what I used to sort of help lift and get out of that. But this will probably cover it as well, because it got to a point where I was on antidepressants, I was on sleeping medication. They were also mentioning about going on antipsychotic medication, which I was just like, no, it didn't resonate with me. But it got to a point where at 8 months postpartum, I was really wanting to take my own life. I was Googling it. I was seeing how I can do it quick. Is there any places I can go in the world which assist you with that? Even though I had this beautiful little daughter, I had a loving partner who's now my husband, I had a lot of support, a lot of friends, but I just wanted to end my life. And it got to a point where I was like, I need something needs to come to me type of thing, something needs to change. And that's when I delved into using psychedelic plant medicines for healing. I was like, okay, this is new. I'm very much against drugs. My whole belief system around these was quite a ignorant and negative one, until I started to learn more about them and sort of gain that knowledge and understanding and really respecting them, and how these other cultures have respected them. They're not just taking them. It's not just, oh, I'll take a magic mushroom and all my life's going to be wonderful. No, you've still got to do the inner work. However, when I started microdosing, there was a massive shift. I microdosed probably for, I'd say about 3 to 4 months before I took my first big macro dose sort of trip. And after the first big trip, the postnatal depression went. It just lifted. It was literally like someone had lifted the veil of darkness away from my face. It was just, oh my God, it was like a miracle. It was magic. It was magic. But yeah, I still need to do the inner work. I still need to do, because obviously the postnatal depression was one aspect of what I was struggling with, but I also had complex PTSD symptoms. I've just recently been diagnosed with dissociation identity disorder, and I'm on the spectrum of the other dissociation disorders as well. And all it is a coping mechanism from childhood. When we can't escape or we can't fight, we sort of leave our body, we dissociate, and it can cause a lot of troubles if you carry on that coping mechanism later on in life. But because it's so ingrained in my psyche and my ability to cope, it happens quite often, and in the sense of places where I don't really want to dissociate, but it just happens. So I'm working, through therapy with that, and just learning how to ground myself, and also to be compassionate with myself, because the reality is, I've been through a lot of trauma as a child, and I even said to my therapist today, actually on the phone, I said to her, I can't believe how strong I am, like with everything I've been through, why is it I'm still here? And she said that just shows the character of who you are, the resilience, the strength, the willingness to change. So yeah, in basically with the question, obviously my book did drop, saying about is Yeah, does microdosing help with mental health illnesses such as complex PTSD, dissociation disorders and depression? Yes, it does. It really, and this is just my experience, but a word of caution is it's not for the faint-hearted. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to know where the right psilocybin mushrooms are coming from, making sure that you're getting the quality aspect of it, and making sure that you understand what you're putting in your body and how it affects you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You know, I did a lot of research. You know, it took me years before going on antidepressants because I had to do the research, and I really had to gain a level of reassurance and confidence that these are going to actually help me. And it was the same with the magic mushrooms, the psilocybin mushrooms. I'd heard rumours, I'd watched videos of other mums and women and even men who were sharing their stories of how these plants that grow in abundance all over the world, how they're helping them with the mental health, how they're giving them more clarity, more focus, more productivity, they're helping them break through addictions, break through old negative thought patterns, habits that no longer serve them. And I was just like, it was literally the reason why I decided to take them is because I had exhausted all of my options at that point. It was either these mushrooms are going to help save my life or I'm going to kill my life. That's literally the fork in the road that I was in at 8 months postpartum with my daughter. And I was like, they're going to either help me and get me out of this dark place or they're not, and I'm just going to exit this planet really quickly, as quickly as I can. But I did, thank God, you know, went down the plant medicine route, and it has profoundly changed my life. It's changed my viewpoint on the world. It's helped me to feel much more connected to myself and everything around me. It's helped me to understand myself more. It's definitely helped me more with my spiritual journey and to really listen to the subtle guidance that we get. We all get these like little bits of guidance from source, God, angels, guides, whatever you want to call it. But because we're just so ingrained in this life, and there's so many distractions, we don't listen, and we don't take the time to just sit with ourselves and to breathe and to just listen to the wisdom that's around us. It's incredible, and don't get me wrong, I'm still learning all of this. I'm still quite in the infant stage of my spiritual journey, I'd say. You know, I feel like I'm probably more advanced than quite a lot of people in the sense of where I've come from, but I know I've still got so much more to learn, and I'll always be learning, I'll always be growing. So yeah, things that I've just wrote down as well that have helped with the microdosing with the psilocybin mushrooms is obviously I definitely feel more creative, which is great because I'm a creative person. I've definitely got more, my energy and mood has improved. Improved mindfulness, definitely. Increased insight and self-awareness, definitely. Enhanced problem-solving abilities, yes. Motivated to make more healthier choices, yes. So before I started the microdosing protocol again, I was off it for a good sort of 3-4 months whilst I was in the early stages of pregnancy. And coming at like the 3rd or 4th month, I could feel the cloud of darkness starting to just creep in a little bit. And I was just thinking, oh, I've made the right decision. And, you know, I just felt like I was going, it almost felt like I was falling back into depression. That's how I could explain it. And I was like, okay, what are my options? And I was like, okay, plant medicine. I've researched about, you know, people who have had it when they've been pregnant and the risk is very minimal and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, it's my decision, it's my choice. And the day I took my microdose, which is a tiny little thing, you don't actually feel anything, you're not tripping balls or anything. Literally within a few hours, I got up, I got washed, I got dressed, I was creative, I'd done all my to-do lists, which I never really get through them all. I was productive. I felt so much like energy. I had like my mojo back, and that's what it does. It just gives you, it's like a superpower. It just gives you back the motivation and the energy that you need, instead of feeling really lethargic and and like passive and just like, oh, what's the point? Enhance feelings of connectedness, definitely. More empathy for others, reduce stress and anxiety, definitely. I'm just thinking here, yeah, oh, that's the risks and all that other stuff. Sharpened problem solving, increased energy and creativity, increased self-care. Yeah, it's that's pretty much it in like a nutshell, even though this video is going on for quite some time. But honestly, it has helped with reduce my complex PTSD symptoms massively. Are they still there? Yes. Are they completely gone now? I've had them over 20 years. Would I like them to go? Yes. But right now, is life the best it's ever been? Yes. Is that because you incorporated psilocybin, aka magic mushrooms, into your wellness practice, your healing, your own self-help practice? And it's yes. My life just feels infinitely more better since taking them, and I've been taking them now for over a year. And it's just a shame with all the stigma and the like the illegal like rules around it all. It's quite sad, because if they've helped me and with what I've gone through, you know, I really do believe they can help so many other people out there, but they've just not got the access to it or the knowledge or the awareness. So yeah, they've completely gotten rid of my postnatal depression. Like I said, depression symptoms are at an all-time low. I don't even feel depressed. I may feel tired, but that's, you know, given I'm pregnant and I've got a toddler. Dissociation symptoms massively reduced, however they're still there, and the complex PTSD symptoms are massively reduced. I used to have night terrors pretty much every night. I used to not be able to sleep with the light like in pitch black. I used to be scared of putting the smoothie maker on, loud noises, and all of that's sort of gone. There's still things that I need to work on. I still have my night terrors, but instead of them being multiple times every night, they're probably once a week, once every 2 weeks. And I wake up as well, instead of waking up in this like fear response and just being like, so, oh my God, I don't know what to do, and I'm panicked and having a panic attack and crying because it was so awful what I saw in the dream and all this stuff. I wake up and take a deep breath and sit with myself and just know that I'm safe and I'm secure, and that's in the past and I'm here now. And so it allows me that processing, which I find is incredible. It's almost like it feels like what these mushrooms have done is what I get through 5 years of therapy, seeing a therapist. I can get that with a microdosing protocol that lasts 4 to 6 weeks, or a higher dose of mushrooms in like a 5 to 6 hour window. So that's how effective it is for processing trauma very, very quickly. Again, it's just been incredible. I'll continue to use them in my well-being journey, my spiritual journey for the rest of my life. And I want to share a lot more videos on this and a lot more topics to come all around, using plant medicines, using mushrooms for healing mental health. And I know a lot of people are struggling with it at the moment. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions that you may think are, because what I'm talking about may open a lot of questions with a lot of people. So, you know, if you've got a question, regardless of how, you know, big or small it is, or how, you know, you think it may be a silly one, no question's silly, it's just a question. Pop it in the description, in the comments, wherever you're watching this, and I'll do my best to, do a video on it, because I think video is quite powerful. You can see the person, you can hear the person, you can get a sense of what they're trying to convey in their videos. But yeah, there will be a lot more videos to come. Sort of like I've wrote like a few little concepts to cover, which is before microdosing with magic mushrooms, here is what I did first and what's good to know. Taking magic mushrooms, what protocol I follow, because there's a lot of protocols out there. Getting ready to microdose with magic mushrooms, some honest tips and advice. Microdosing with psilocybin magic mushrooms whilst on antidepressants, because people want to know about that. Microdosing psilocybin mushrooms whilst breastfeeding. You know, microdosing is obviously with the help and coping with the stressful triggers, no self-harm and suicidal ideation. Side effects of taking magic mushrooms versus antidepressants. Books. I can also talk about my macrodose like my big journeys as well that I've taken, which have been mind-blowing but very beneficial. There's just a lot to cover, and I know it just takes that one courageous, strong person to start sharing their experiences for other people to, you know, feel comfortable either to share theirs or to just feel more connected and more understood and not so alone. So yeah, and I do believe knowledge is power. The right knowledge is power. So yeah, let me know if you've liked the video wherever you're watching it. Please give it a thumbs up or love heart, and then again comment below, pop questions down. I can do videos on those next, but I'm really doing my best to try and do a video once a week. We'll see how it goes, but sending lots of love, lots of light, lots of positive blessings to you all wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching, and yeah, just take care and stay blessed. Lots of love. Bye.